You can't whisper dreams into a thunderstorm and expect silence to carry them. You can't pray for a flood while refusing to dig the trenches. You can't keep playing small and still expect the world to hand you something big. Life doesn't answer to your intentions. It responds to your identity. And if the person you are doesn't match the person your prayers are asking you to become, then you're not praying, you're postponing. You say you want more, but every move you make is screaming, "I'm not ready." You dream of expansion, but keep choosing comfort. You say you trust in God, but you don't walk like it. You don't speak like it. You don't sacrifice like it. And somewhere deep inside, you know it. This isn't about whether you're capable. It's whether you're committed. Because greatness is never handed to the one who hopes hardest. It's revealed to the one who disciplines deepest. You can't say, "God, enlarge my territory," and still be afraid to leave the block. You can't say, "Bless me with abundance," and keep hoarding a mindset of lack. You can't say, "Use me for something mighty," and still act like your presence doesn't carry weight. The world doesn't move for the man who waits to feel ready. It shifts for the one who decides, "I will not die with potential still buried in my bones." Look back at the lives of giants, the ones who shifted history with bloody hands and trembling knees. Do you think Martin Luther King waited for a perfect plan? Do you think Rosa Parks didn't feel fear as she sat still? Do you think Thomas Edison knew the light bulb would work before he failed 10,000 times? No. They moved before clarity. They acted before applause. They stepped up when it was easier to shrink. Because something in them knew. You can't make history with your hands in your pockets. Every time you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you tell the universe you're not ready for the very thing you've been asking for. You don't get to skip the discomfort and still inherit the reward. You don't get to play safe and still demand transformation. You want miracles but won't make the room for them. You want purpose but won't release the habits that keep you numb. You want change but won't change in you. It's not because you're weak. It's because you've mistaken survival for obedience. You've mistaken overthinking for wisdom. You've mistaken waiting for alignment when it's really been avoidance. Listen closely. God doesn't bless what you postpone. He blesses what you build. He doesn't multiply intention. He multiplies motion. And if you're too afraid to move, then stop blaming God for what hasn't happened. You want favor? You better step into the fire. You want growth? Then stop planting excuses and calling them prayers. You want abundance? Then become someone who can carry it. That dream in your heart isn't just a wish, it's a summons, a divine invitation. And every time you ignore it, the world gets a little quieter, a little smaller, a little more absent of the power you were born to release. You keep saying you're waiting on God, but what if He's waiting on you, waiting for you to move like you believe it's already yours? To speak like heaven is backing every word. To walk like fear isn't the deciding factor. To sacrifice like the promise is worth more than the pain. Because here's the truth, most people never face. Your prayers are only as powerful as your participation. Don't tell me you want to break generational curses if you're still clinging to generational habits. Don't say you're committed if you're only consistent when it's easy. Don't say you're built for impact if you vanish every time the pressure rises. Do you think purpose comes without pruning? Do you think increase comes without sacrifice? God isn't punishing you with delay. He's preparing you with fire. He's sharpening the steel of your identity. He's crushing the ego so the calling can rise. But He can't multiply what you refuse to move on. He can't trust you with more if you can't manage you. He can't elevate you if you won't excavate what's still buried. You say you want overflow but haven't made space for it. So He waits, and you wait, and life sits still until someone finally decides, "This is the day I stop shrinking. This is the moment I stop praying for big and start playing like it." You keep asking for the next level, but you're still clinging to the behaviors of the last one. Still entertaining distractions you should have outgrown. Still negotiating with fear like it deserves a seat at your table. Let me be clear. You don't get to walk in destiny with a comfort-first mentality. You don't get to carry greatness in one hand and excuses in the other. You don't get to keep playing small while praying for overflow. If you want elevation, you have to endure excavation. And that means losing things, losing people, losing versions of yourself that were never meant to survive the climb. It means silence. It means discipline. It means learning to be alone with your purpose long enough to hear it breathe again. Because let's be honest, some of you are tired, but not from running your race. You're tired from resisting your own becoming. You're worn out from building masks instead of a mission. Exhausted from trying to blend in when you were called to stand out. Tired of praying for open doors while secretly hoping nothing changes. But growth doesn't ask if you're comfortable. It asks if you're willing, if you're surrendered, if you're done pretending you're powerless just to stay popular. Every version of greatness, every story you admire, every giant you quote was built by a decision. A moment when the person said enough. Enough shrinking, enough apologizing for their light, enough asking for permission to become everything they were born to be. Henry Ford didn't wait for someone to believe in mass production. He built it while the critics laughed. Walt Disney didn't ask for acceptance from the world before creating his own. He visioned bigger, even when he was bankrupt. Oprah didn't wait for a seat at the table, she built her own damn table, then invited the whole world to sit. You're waiting for a sign, but the sign is already in your spirit, and it's been screaming, move. Because prayer without movement is spiritual procrastination. Vision without execution is just self-deception. And comfort will convince you that caution is wisdom, when really it's just fear with good marketing. Don't you see the person you're praying to become is already inside of you, buried under years of fear, conditioning, doubt, and delay. But they're still in there alive, breathing, waiting. And every time you choose alignment over approval, every time you choose purpose over popularity, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you unbury them. You can't become who you were born to be while constantly feeding the version of you that's afraid to be seen. You can't walk into legacy while still entertaining lies that were spoken over you in childhood. You can't become undeniable if you keep disappearing every time life demands you rise. And make no mistake, the world won't hand it to you. It never has. It never will. It will resist you, reject you, misunderstand you, and that's exactly how you'll know you're on the right path. Because the road to expansion is always lonely before it's legendary. The crowd won't celebrate your commitment. They'll question it. They'll label it obsessive, too much, too intense, too driven. But you weren't built to be casual. You weren't designed to blend in. You weren't created to play background music in someone else's movie. You were made to lead, to blaze, to move mountains not with your strength, but with your standard. So what now? Will you keep rehearsing the excuses that got you here? Will you keep shrinking every time your name is called? Will you keep praying for big while playing so small that the world never even hears your voice? Or will you decide this right now, today, in this moment, that the version of you who settles is dead, that the old mindset is no longer welcome, that the fear no longer has jurisdiction, that the habits of playing it safe will never again rob you of a future that was paid for in your pain? You are not here to impress. You are not here to tiptoe through life unnoticed. You are not here to carry dreams to the graveyard. You are here to disrupt, to rebuild, to rise with force. And the moment you stop apologizing for your fire is the moment everything begins to multiply. So say it with your walk. Say it with your work. Say it with your life. I can't keep playing small. Not when I was made for something big. They told you to be humble, so you made yourself invisible. They told you to wait your turn, so you kept quiet when your soul wanted to roar. They told you not to be too much, so you spent your life editing your greatness to make them feel comfortable in their mediocrity. But now you're waking up. You're realizing humility isn't shrinking. It's knowing the full weight of who you are and choosing to serve the world anyway. You're realizing waiting isn't faith, it's fear wearing a mask. You're realizing that playing small isn't noble, it's betrayal. Betrayal of the calling, betrayal of the gift, betrayal of the version of you God handcrafted for impact. You were never meant to tiptoe through life unnoticed, untouched, unseen. You were meant to walk into rooms and shift the temperature. You were meant to carry truth like fire in your chest. You were meant to be a living interruption to the lies people believe about what's possible. But that version of you, the one who commands respect, not from volume but from alignment, won't come from wishful thinking. It comes from war. War with the part of you that wants to quit. War with the part of you that still clings to validation. War with the inner voice that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" Because until you confront that voice, you'll always be praying for Goliath-sized blessings with a grasshopper-sized mindset. You'll speak vision, but sabotage action. You'll ask for more, but tolerate less. You'll dream of flying, but keep building cages with your choices. This world, it doesn't give you what you ask for. It gives you what you insist on. And every time you play small, you teach it to underestimate you. You train the world to bypass your name. You condition your environment to assume you'll shrink. You reinforce to yourself that comfort is safer than calling. But calling has never lived in safety. It lives in risk, in sacrifice, in that moment where everything in you wants to run but something deeper says, move anyway. You don't get to stay comfortable and change lives. You don't get to seek approval and still create impact. You don't get to chase applause and still walk in authority. At some point, you have to choose, do you want to be liked or do you want to be legendary? Because the two rarely walk together. Legends are misunderstood. They're criticized. They're rejected before they're remembered. Think of Lincoln. Think of Mandela. Think of Harriet Tubman. Mother Teresa, Joan of Arc. Each of them misunderstood, mocked, and opposed. But none of them played small. They stepped out in the kind of obedience that doesn't need confirmation, in the kind of boldness that doesn't apologize, in the kind of discipline that builds empires long after they're gone. And what about you? What legacy are you building? Will your name echo because you dared to believe when others doubted? Will your children live freer because you broke the cycle? Will strangers walk in purpose because you stopped hiding? Or will your potential die perfectly preserved, untouched, unfulfilled, because you were too afraid to play bigger? There's no magic switch, no special moment of readiness, no perfect sign from heaven. Just a decision, a clear, violent, no turning back decision to stop living beneath your assignment. You can't keep praying for more and showing up like less. You can't keep asking for overflow when your mindset still leaks. You can't keep speaking of greatness with habits that whisper mediocrity. God won't multiply what you don't mature. He won't elevate what you refuse to embody. The world is not confused about your potential. You are. And until you stop betraying your own calling just to make other people comfortable, you will always wonder why things feel stuck. So rise. Not because you feel ready, not because it's easy, but because something inside of you knows the world doesn't need another small soul hiding behind big prayers. It needs someone who walks like the blessing is already here, who speaks like legacy is non-negotiable, who lives like impact is a birthright. So play big, live loud, move like heaven is watching, because it is. Move like generations are counting on you because they are. Move like the door is already open because it's been waiting on you. You can't keep playing small, not when you were born for magnitude, not when the world is starving for someone to show what alignment looks like, not when you know deep down the small version of you was never the real you. Every day, you delay your rise. Someone else settles for average. Someone who needed your voice, your leadership, your boldness, and while you hesitate playing it safe, praying for signs, mediocrity takes root. It multiplies. It convinces others that just enough is holy, that shrinking is spiritual, that hiding is humility. But understand this: there is nothing holy about hiding. There is nothing righteous about smallness. And there is nothing humble about dimming your light when the world is drowning in darkness. Every time you second-guess your worth, every time you apologize for your ambition, every time you rehearse the lie that maybe this is enough, you partner with the very force that's trying to silence your generation. You weren't sent here to fit in. You weren't assigned breath and time and trauma and wisdom just to make others feel more comfortable about their indecision. You were sent here to interrupt the cycle, to tear down every lie that says greatness is reserved for the elite, to live out loud so others can find permission in your courage. But let's be real. You can't preach boldness and practice hesitation. You can't wear faith like a badge while living like it's a backup plan. You can't ask for heaven-sized results while making earth-sized moves. This world rewards action, not intention, not potential, not someday when I'm ready. You want a different life? Then move like the old one is no longer an option. Don't you see? The reason it hurts to play small now is because your soul has outgrown it. Your destiny is chafing against your current choices. Your spirit is suffocating in spaces where it once felt safe. That's not confusion. That's a calling. And the reason you're restless isn't because you're lost. It's because you've been playing at a level that no longer fits your anointing. You keep asking, when is it my time? But heaven is asking, when will you stop pretending you're not the one? You are the answer to someone's prayer, the embodiment of someone else's breakthrough. And every day you delay your obedience, the ripple effect of your life gets quieter. But here's what you must understand, what you must feel in your bones. This world changes when you do, not when the circumstances are perfect, not when the resources are abundant, not when people finally see your worth, but when you decide, I will no longer shrink to fit spaces I was sent to stretch. I will no longer pray for big and show up like I'm small. I will no longer make excuses dressed in faith's clothing. Stop outsourcing your calling. Stop waiting for someone else to hand you permission. Stop hiding behind timelines and technicalities. God doesn't call the convenient, He calls the committed. He doesn't wait for the qualified, He qualifies those who move despite the doubt. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not underdeveloped. You're just underdecided. Make the decision. The kind that burns bridges behind you. The kind that silences the voice of comfort for good. The kind that shifts how you walk into rooms, not asking who will accept you, but declaring that you belong. This life doesn't bend for the hesitant. It bends for the decided. So decide. Decide that small is no longer your home, that average is no longer your ceiling, that big isn't just something you pray for, it's something you become. You can't keep playing small and praying for big. The contradiction is costing you your calling. It's burying your fire. It's delaying your destiny. And the world can't afford your silence any longer. Not when there are mountains to move. Not when there are lives waiting to watch you walk in power. Not when your very existence was a divine strategy to rewrite what's possible. It's not that you're not enough. It's that you've believed the lie that you need more, when what you need is already inside you, waiting, begging, burning. So rise. This world, your world, won't expand until you do. You've made it this far without even becoming who you truly are yet. Let that sink in. You've survived storms you didn't feel ready for. You've endured battles that should have broken you. You've carried weight that would have crushed lesser souls. And still, you're not even fully activated, not even fully obedient, not even fully awake to the magnitude of the power inside you. So imagine what would happen if you stopped shrinking entirely. Imagine what would ignite if you stopped negotiating with your fire. Imagine what kind of legacy you could build if you finally decided to stop playing small. Let this be the moment, the hour you stopped treating your purpose like a hobby, the night you stopped asking for signs you already received, the turning point where everything within you screams, "I will not die with this much power untouched." You keep thinking the calling will wait, that the dream will hold, that the opportunity will circle back around when you're more prepared. But the truth, purpose moves at the speed of obedience, and every time you stall, another door closes, another window narrows, another life you were supposed to impact goes untouched. You say you're waiting on timing, but timing has been waiting on you. Waiting on you to break up with your excuses. Waiting on you to stop romancing the idea of someday. Waiting on you to let go of the old story that keeps whispering, "Stay safe." You weren't born to play defense with your destiny. You were born to take ground, to command space, to be the kind of presence that shifts atmospheres just by standing in truth. So why keep hiding behind the illusion of almost ready? Why keep praying for overflow while blocking the spout with your fear? Every time you ask for something big but live like something basic, you create a war inside yourself. Your soul wants to soar, but your habits are chained to the ground. Your vision wants to explode, but your self-talk whispers smallness. Your destiny calls you by name, but you answer it like it was meant for someone else. Enough. You cannot serve the world by hiding. You cannot answer your calling by staying confused. And you cannot live the life you were born for if you keep negotiating with fear like it's your life coach. The people who left, they had to. The doors that closed, they were divine. The version of you that died last season, it needed to. Because there's no room in your future for who you used to be. You're being stripped, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Every delay was training. Every disappointment was pruning. Every unanswered prayer was heaven saying, "Not yet. I'm still building you." But now it's time to show the world what all that pain was preparing. Don't let the years you spent struggling be wasted because you played small in your breakthrough. Don't let the prayers you cried on your knees be mocked because you refused to walk in what you asked for. Don't let the purpose inside you rot because you chose validation over vision. The world needs your decision, not your doubt, not your hesitation, not your waiting room mindset. Your decision to show up different, to rise with focus, to speak with fire, to lead with authority that comes not from being perfect, but from being called. You've been asking for the next level, but can the next level recognize you? Or are you still dressing like fear, still walking like hesitation, still speaking like uncertainty? It's time to align how you think with what you've been asking for. Time to align your discipline with the size of your dreams. Time to align your movement with the magnitude of your purpose. No more fake humility. No more hiding behind spiritual language to justify procrastination. No more living in the shadows of who you almost became. You are the one sent to break cycles, the one chosen to lead, the one called to shift the entire trajectory of your bloodline, not because it's easy, but because you decided it's done. So no, you can't keep playing small. Not when big is encoded in your DNA. Not when heaven hand-picked you to carry this fire. Not when the very air you breathe is divine proof that your life is not optional, it's essential. You can't keep playing small, because the world you were born to impact is already waiting for you to show up big. The biggest lie you've ever believed is that you had to be small to stay safe. That if you didn't make noise, they wouldn't target you. That if you didn't shine too bright, you wouldn't get hurt again. But staying small has never protected you. It's only made you easy to overlook, easy to dismiss, easy to doubt, even by your own reflection. And deep down you know it. You know playing small hasn't kept you from pain. It's only kept you from power. So here's what most won't say. You will be attacked for playing big. You will be misunderstood. You will lose people. You will be called arrogant, dramatic, obsessive, too much. But that's the cost of choosing purpose over performance. That's the price of owning your assignment. And every soul who ever walked in destiny paid it in full. They told Noah he was crazy until it started raining. They said Harriet was a threat until freedom followed her footsteps. They said MLK was dangerous until the dream outlived the bullets. They said Jesus was too much until he changed the timeline of history. So what makes you think you'll be celebrated before you're criticized? You keep praying for big, but you want it without resistance. You want greatness without grit. You want transformation without tearing. But hear me. You cannot keep playing small and expect to be trusted with movements. You cannot avoid discomfort and still carry the mantle of leadership. You cannot worship ease and still walk into your full expression. At some point, you have to stop being surprised by the struggle. You have to stop seeing resistance as rejection and start seeing it as recognition. Because resistance is what shows up when potential starts becoming power. The reason it feels hard right now is because you're finally walking in the direction you were always meant to go. Not because you're failing, but because you're activating. Not because you're behind, but because you're shedding what no longer fits. Not because you're unqualified, but because you're stepping into something your past wasn't designed to carry. You can't keep praying for God to make a way while living like you're not worth the breakthrough. You can't keep asking for generational wealth while budgeting your time like success is a side hustle. You can't keep hoping for destiny while dragging defeat through every door you enter. Big doesn't come to those who whisper it. Big shows up for those who walk like they already own it. And the truth is, you were never meant to be common. You were never meant to be explained. You were never meant to be digestible to people who gave up on themselves. Let them misunderstand you. Let them label your passion as too much. Let them talk. Because while they're spectating, you're building. While they're gossiping, you're growing. While they're waiting for signs, you've become the sign they'll never forget. So here you are, standing at the edge of who you've been, staring at the vast unknown of what you could become. And the voice inside you, the one that refuses to die, is begging you not to go back to playing it safe. It's begging you not to reduce yourself again, not to apologize again, not to fit in when you were built to lead the exodus. So rise, not for validation, not for applause, but because you've finally had enough of your own excuses. Because you finally understand that playing small isn't humility, it's sabotage. And the longer you pretend to be less, the more you rob the world of what only you were born to bring. So stop shrinking, stop explaining, stop praying for big while living like you're invisible. You are the evidence that greatness is possible. You are the blueprint they've been waiting for. You are the voice that breaks chains, but only if you stop being silent when it matters. So walk loud, stand tall, live like the miracle they'll never forget. Because heaven didn't send you here to fit in. Heaven sent you here to shift everything. If this stirred something in you, don't ignore it. That fire you feel, that wasn't just words, that was alignment. Your higher self remembering who you were before. Fear rewrote the script. So don't go back to silence. Don't scroll past this and return to smallness. Don't let this moment pass like every other one that almost changed your life. You've prayed for big. Now move like it's already yours. And if you really felt this, then share it. Not for algorithm, not for numbers, but because someone else is still hiding where you just broke free. Click the like. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Send this to someone who's been playing it too safe for too long. Because boldness is contagious. And maybe, just maybe, your act of courage is what sets the next one free. We don't play small around here, not anymore. If this stirred something in you, don't ignore it. That fire you feel, that wasn't just words. That was alignment. Your higher self remembering who you were before fear rewrote the script. So don't go back to silence. Don't scroll past this and return to smallness. Don't let this moment pass like every other one that almost changed your life. You've prayed for big. Now move like it's already yours. And if you really felt this, then share it. Not for algorithm, not for numbers, but because someone else is still hiding where you just broke free. Click the like. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Send this to someone who's been playing it too safe for too long. Because boldness is contagious. And maybe, just maybe, your act of courage is what sets the next one free. We don't play small around here, not anymore.